Hi again, Mark here from Talkingbass. Last week I broke down 3 simple ways we can learn the notes on the bass fretboard. This week I'm going to expand on the first and most basic of those methods by using simple test sheets. All the sheets I'm going to be covering here can be downloaded from Talkingbass. Just follow the link in the info below and you'll be able to play along. Also, while you're there, remember to check out all the hundreds of other free lessons and courses on every bass topic imaginable at the Talkingbass site. Everything is organised and systemised for ease of navigation on the lesson map, so go check it out. So, before we start, here's a quick question. How well do you know your notes on the fretboard? Do you know a few notes? Do you know them in one specific area? Or maybe you don't know any of them at all? Before you work through the exercises, let me know your level of fretboard knowledge in the comments below, and then give me another comment at the end. It's worth comparing your before and after because those small victories will inspire you to work on the exercises and your fretboard knowledge more from this day forward. It's your first steps on that road to success. Okay, so the basic idea behind this lesson and these test sheets is simple. We have a page full of random note names from A through to G, and we're going to read through them. Each note lasts for 1 bar of 4/4, and you can obviously play them at any tempo that you want, but I'd recommend as slow as required when getting started. So we see the note, find the note, and play the note. Now, that all seems pretty straightforward, and it is, but there's one small problem. Let's say we see the note G. What G do we play? This G? This G? This G? This G? There's a bunch of different Gs on the bass neck. There's repeats of the same note, and there's those in different registers. And this is also a problem when reading chord charts, and the reason standard music notation is the overall best way to learn the notes on the neck. But for now, with our test sheets, how are we going to get around this problem? Well, the answer is focus and restriction. We focus on a specific set of notes in a specific area on the bass. As an example, let's say we're learning the notes in the first position down here between the 1st and 5th frets. We can restrict ourselves to the E and A strings only. That gives us only one iteration of any one note name. So that's the key. We're taking decisions out of the equation. We don't have to think, should I go for this G, this G, this G? None of that. There's only one answer. There's one G in that area on those 2 strings. It's there, 3rd fret of the E string. So it's all about adding restrictions into the mix. Now, don't worry, you don't have to start pondering of the correct restrictions to put in place. I've done all that for you. So we're going to split these exercises into 2 main sets. First, we're going to stick to a basic set of fret markers that you can use as an introduction to the notes on the neck, and then we'll get more thorough by learning 2 separate positions. So fret markers and then positions. We're going to stick to natural notes and ignore the flats and sharps for now because, once you have a knowledge of the natural notes, it's really easy to find a flat or sharp by just moving up or down a fret. So if there's an E, and we want an E flat, we can just flatten it. So first things first, let's look at the set of fret markers that we're going to learn. If we look at the E string, we have those first 3 fret markers there at the 3rd, 5th and 7th frets. Those are the notes G, A and B. Okay, so just think of the word gab. G, A, B. Now we don't include the 9th fret in here because that's a C sharp or D flat. Remember, we just want natural notes for now. So we have G, A and B. 3rd fret, 5th fret, 7th fret, those first 3 fret markers. Next we move on to the A string and the list of notes just continues. So we have the first 3 fret markers there, 3rd fret, 5th fret and 7th fret, and that's C, D and E. C, D, E. Okay, so we add those to the E string and we get G, A, B, C, D, E. So we're just working through the alphabet there. Next we move on to the D string and we actually have all 4 of these fret markers, 3rd, 5th, 7th and 9th frets. So we have F, G, A and B. Okay, so we've just continued up from the E that we got to. F, G, A, B. Okay, so now we have G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B. Then we move on to the G string. And we're going to miss that first fret marker there at the 3rd fret, so we're not going to have that because that's a B flat or A sharp. So we're just going to work from the 5th fret there, so that's the 2nd fret marker, which is C. So we have C, D and E, so that's the 5th, 7th and 9th frets. So we just miss out that 3rd fret marker, and there we have it, C, D, E. So we add that to the list, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, and that's the note names for those fret markers. So first of all, you just want to familiarize yourself with that set of fret markers. Just work through them, saying them aloud. G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E. Just get used to, the basic pattern of those fret markers and the fact that we're missing out, the ninth fret on the E and the A string and then missing out the third fret on the G string. Just get used to that kind of diagonal motion across the neck. And like I said, say the notes aloud as you go. So this is the first set of notes that we're going to use for our test sheets. And remember what I said, we're going to work on each string individually and then in combination. So we'll begin just working through the E string, and that's the notes G, A, and B. And don't worry too much about the fingering for this. You don't have to, think first finger, second finger, fourth finger, or anything like that. Use whichever finger you need to get the notes, and always be looking ahead, okay? So let's try working through those. I'll just work through in my own time. 1, 2, 3, 4. G, 2, 3, 4. B, 2, 3, 4. A, 2, 3, 4. G, 2, 3, 4. A, 2, 3, 4. G, 2, 3, 4. B, 2, 3, 4. G, 2, 3, 4. So I only worked through the first 8 bars there, but there's an entire page of those for you to work through over at Talkingbass. So again, be sure to follow that link in the info below so you can play along. So next we move on to the A string. So remember we had there C, D, and E. So again, let's work through the test sheet. First 8 bars. 1, 2, 3, 4. C, 2, 3, 4. D, 2, 3, 4. E, 2, 3, 4. C, 2, 3, 4. D, 2, 3, 4. C, 2, 3, 4. C, 2, 3, 4. D, 2, 3, 4. So once you've worked through the E and the A strings, we can combine both of them. And we don't have to worry about combining 2 strings at a time because we're not going to get doublings of the actual note names. So let's try combining the E and A strings. So again, first 8 bars. 1, 2, 3, 4. A, 2, 3, 4. G, 2, 3, 4. E, 2, 3, 4. B, 2, 3, 4. C, 2, 3, 4. D, 2, 3, 4. E, 2, 3, 4. A, 2, 3, 4. Now in these exercises, I'm working through at a fair tempo, but you don't have to go as fast as that. You can go as slow as you want, and be sure to go as slow as you need to. So if we tried that again, I could be playing 1, 2, 3, 4. G, 2, 3, 4. As slow as you need to go to be able to get those notes, okay? Because at first, if these notes are new to you, you're going to have to be, looking around for them. Now, when you do that, when you play a note, be sure to look straight ahead at the next note. Don't play it and then wait until beat 1 to look at the next note. You want to play the note. So for the first bar there I had A, and then immediately look ahead to the next bar. Okay? Now if you're finding it hard to do this while you're counting, so A, 2, 3, 4, looking ahead, then looking for the note, you can use a metronome or you can just tap your foot. And you could even do this out of time. You could just look at the notes and just try finding them. A, G, E, B. You don't have to even think of them in time. Now I think that it can actually be quite useful playing them in time like this because it adds a little bit of extra pressure to you. So it's more like actually reading music in some ways, in that there's a little bit of pressure on. You've actually got to look ahead, and you've got that kind of time limit as the beats are counting down. But if you find that too difficult, just play them in sequence. So now let's just work through the rest of those sheets. So next up we have the D string. Remember we had F, G, A and B for the 3rd, 5th, 7th and 9th frets. So we've got 4 notes here. So let's try with the sheet. So 1, 2, 3, 4. F, 2, 3, 4. G, 2, 3, 4. A, 2, 3, 4. G, 2, 3, 4. B, 2, 3, 4. G, 2, 3, 4. F, 2, 3, 4, G, 2, 3, 4. Next we have the G string. So remember we missed out the 3rd fret here and we had C, D and E. So this is a little like what we had on the A string. So with the sheet we have 1, 2, 3, 4. C, 2, 3, 4, E, 2, 3, 4, D, 2, 3, 4, C, 2, 3, 4, C, 2, 3, 4, E, 2, 3, 4, C, 2, 3, 4, E, 2, 3, 4. Now finally, let's combine the D and the G strings. Now we don't combine any of the other strings, we wouldn't have E, A, D and G strings because we're going to have those repetitions of the notes in there. So don't worry about that, you can just stick to having a combination of the E and the A string and then the D and the G string. So here's the sheet for the D and G strings combined. 1, 2, 3, 4, F, 2, 3, 4, A, 2, 3, 4, C, 2, 3, 4, E, 2, 3, 4, G, 2, 3, 4, D, 2, 3, 4, G, 2, 3, 4, F, 2, 3, 4. So that's the fret markers. Now let's move on to our positions. So I like to split the fretboard up into positions in a really simple way. First, we can split it into two halves at the 12th fret, okay, with that double fret marker. Now, the 12th fret is a repeat of the open string, so everything above the 12th fret is the same as below. So once you know the notes down here, you already know the notes up here, okay? So that already cuts the amount of work by half. So if you know this is a C, then you know this is a C. And then if you know this is a D, you know this is a D, okay? So even with the fret marker exercises that we've already done, you'll already know this set of notes up here. So we've had G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, etc. So again, up here, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, okay? Now, I'm assuming most of you have a pretty good knowledge of your open strings, but if not, let's just quickly cover those. So from thickest to thinnest, we have the E, A, D, and G strings. So as a basic test, we can try another sheet focusing only on those four notes. So let's try that. So just the first 8 bars. 1, 2, 3, 4. E, 2, 3, 4. A, 2, 3, 4. G, 2, 3, 4, D, 2, 3, 4, G, 2, 3, 4, A, 2, 3, 4, G, 2, 3, 4, E, 2, 3, 4. So now we can look at some individual positions, and remember we only need to work on the frets 1 to 11 because beyond the 12th fret it's all just a repeat. Now I'm going to ignore the open A, D and G strings and include only the open E string. This is because I only want one iteration of one pitch in any position. We don't want to be making decisions as to whether to play the A, let's say at the 5th fret of the E string, or the open A string. When we play by position, that decision is made for us. So I like to use two positions, one from the 1st to the 5th fret and the second position from the 7th to the 10th fret. And that's just for natural notes. Flats and sharps take us up or down a fret below those main areas, but when we look at the natural notes, we have two simple positions to deal with. So the first position is just the natural notes in that area between the 1st and the 5th fret. So if we work through those, on the E string we have E, then F, G, A. So that's the 1st fret, 3rd fret and 5th fret. So E, F, G, A. Then we move on to the A string and continue. We have B, C and D. So that's 2nd, 3rd and 5th frets. Then we move on to the D string and have E, F and G. 2nd, 3rd and 5th frets. And then up onto the G string and we have A, B, C. 2nd, 4th and 5th fret. And that's the set of natural notes in that area, okay? So E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. Just in order, working up. The second position is one hand position shift higher. So if we look at the notes down here on the E string, we had E, F, G, A. So if I then shift up to the next note, which is B, and I just move the hand up so that we're starting on that note, that's our new position. So we now have B, C, D. So that's the second position, the starting of the second position. So we've got 7th fret, 8th fret, and 10th fret, B, C, D. So that's just a repeat of what we had down here on the A string. So B, C, D, then onto the A string, E, F and G, so that's 7th, 8th and 10th fret. Then up onto the D string and we have A, B and C, so that's 7th, 9th and 10th fret, and then up onto the G string where we have D, E and F, so that's 7th, 9th and 10th fret, okay? So on the D string and G string we have the same set of frets, which is the 7th, 9th and 10th, and then on the E and A string it's the 7th, 8th and 10th. Okay, so B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F. That's the natural notes in that second position. So just play through those positions a few times to familiarize yourself with the frets and the notes there, and just say the notes as you go. So again, through those two positions, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, and then B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F. Okay, position 1 and position 2. Now let's have a look at some tests. So again, just as with the fret marker tests, we'll look at the strings in isolation before trying combinations. So let's start with our first position, E string only. Okay, so we had the notes E, F, G and A. Okay, open E string, then 1st, 3rd and 5th frets. So just, acclimatize to those. Just familiarize yourself with them. E, F, G and A. Okay, so you'll already know that the G and the A there, that those notes are there on the fret markers from the fret marker tests. So we've just got these first two notes here, E and F. Okay, so let's try with the test sheet. So first 8 bars, 1, 2, 3, 4. A, 2, 3, 4. E, 2, 3, 4. F, 2, 3, 4. G, 2, 3, 4. A, 2, 3, 4. A, 2, 3, 4. G, 2, 3, 4. F, 2, 3, 4. Remember, that's just the first 8 bars. There's a complete sheet there dedicated to that position, so you can just work through those in your own time and stick with it until you feel comfortable before you, move on to the A string. So now let's have a look at the A string. So we had B, C, and D there, 2nd, 3rd, and 5th frets. So let's try the test sheet. 1, 2, 3, 4. B, 2, 3, 4. C, 2, 3, 4. B, 2, 3, 4. D, 2, 3, 4. B, 2, 3, 4. C, 2, 3, 4. C, 2, 3, 4. B, 2, 3, 4. Now let's try a combination of the E and A strings. So we had E, F, G, A, B, C, D. So with the test sheet we have 1, 2, 3, 4. A, 2, 3, 4. E, 2, 3, 4. F, 2, 3, 4. G, 2, 3, 4. B, 2, 3, 4. G, 2, 3, 4. D, 2, 3, 4. A, 2, 3, 4, and so on. Next, let's move on to the D string. So remember E, F, and G, 2nd fret, 3rd fret, and 5th fret. So with the test sheet, 1, 2, 3, 4. E, 2, 3, 4. F, 2, 3, 4. G, 2, 3, 4. E, 2, 3, 4. F, 2, 3, 4. E, 2, 3, 4. F, 2, 3, 4. G, 2, 3, 4. Next, let's move on to our last string, the G string. Remember we had A, B, and C, 2nd fret, 4th fret, and 5th fret. So let's try with the test sheet. 1, 2, 3, 4. A, 2, 3, 4. C, 2, 3, 4. B, 2, 3, 4. B, 2, 3, 4. C, 2, 3, 4. B, 2, 3, 4. A, 2, 3, 4. A, 2, 3, 4. Finally, let's combine the D and G strings, so that gives us the notes E, F, G, A, B, and C. So with the test sheet, 1, 2, 3, 4. C, 2, 3, 4. B, 2, 3, 4. G, 2, 3, 4. A, 2, 3, 4. F, 2, 3, 4. E, 2, 3, 4. G, 2, 3, 4. A, 2, 3, 4. Once you feel comfortable with the first position, which may take a few weeks or even months, you can try the second position. Now, I'd stick to that first position as long as you need. Don't rush it and don't move on too quickly because you need to focus and build the muscle memory and recognition over time. You're dealing with memory, and memory doesn't work to deadlines or impatience. It'll take as long as it takes. So just put the work in, try the exercises every day, and you'll be amazed how quickly you progress. So rather than working through a whole bunch of other test sheets here, I've just included all of those in the download over at Talkingbass. So just follow that link in the info to download those and play along to them. So remember, there's the first position, the second position, and all of the other test sheets that I've worked through here. And all you have to remember is those two positions. You just have to remember E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. And then when you move up into the second position, we're starting at the B. So B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, and D, E, F. Okay, so the second position tests are all in that position. So download those test sheets, work through them, and you'll start to see a definite improvement in your fretboard knowledge. Now, as I mentioned in the last lesson, reading sheet music is the ultimate way to work on your fretboard knowledge, and chord charts are also a great expansion on these tests. I'll be covering those other two methods over the next few weeks, so subscribe to the channel to be notified on the weekly lessons, visit Talkingbass for the lesson material, more lessons and courses, and I'll see you next week.